it's Natalie from Extra Small Dogs. I just want to take some time to talk to you about the Layman's Guide to Whelping Puppies. I've just finished reading this book. It's been a great book to read. It's quite short, which is good, so it's a quick read, and it's really, really simple. It's written with the first-time breeder in mind, so if it's something that you're considering or hoping to do in the future, it's a good book to read. It talks you through everything step by step. So first of all, it talks you through your reasons for breeding. Why do you want to breed your dog? Is it because it's got a champion line? Is it because it can't actually be because it's a great pet? You know, breeding is something you've got to think seriously about. It then goes step by step through all the process of birthing to having the puppies to them having a new home. So it starts off by talking about the bitch and when she's on season, identifying the signs. It also discusses if your bitch isn't coming into season and it's a bit concerning and you're not sure, you know, if you've been waiting a long time and the bitch isn't coming on, they advise you to put the dog into a kennel to try and bring the season on, or put it with another bitch that's on season, because if you put two bitches together that are on season, it usually brings out in the other one. So you usually end up with all your bitches on season at once, usually. It then talks through the birth, if you've decided to have the mating, but first of all it talks you through selecting a stud. So whether that be going on the internet and looking for a specific stud for genetic purposes, or if you want to go down the artificial insemination route, this may be you want to get some sperm from a dog abroad and bringing it across to wherever you live. So that's also an option. It also talks to you about finding the perfect day. So the perfect day for your bitch to mate with the stud dog. So it talks you through all of that, which is fantastic. And then it goes on to discussing the birth and the process of how your bitch, week by week, how your bitch will progress with the puppies. So you can take advice from the book for the feeding and nutrition, ensuring that the bitch has got the right things in place. Exercise, talks you through all them scenarios, because looking after a pregnant bitch for the first time can probably be a little bit daunting for most people. And then it tells you about taking temperatures of your bitch and knowing when's the right time for her to have the puppies. So it talks you temperature checking, and the drop in temperature usually occurs sort of 24 to 36 hours before she's about to give birth. It also talks about setting up an area for the puppies, such as the infrared lamps and what you will need, sort of the blankets, all the resources, and if you want to have a plastic whelping box or if you want to make a pen out of wood, it talks you through all of that as well, which is fantastic. And then it talks you through week by week the progress of the puppies and what you need to do to ensure that they have the best possible upbringing in the first 8 weeks, which are the critical weeks. It also talks you through if you have any problems. For example, if the puppies aren't taking to the teat, or if the puppies are underweight, or they're not progressing the way that you'd like them to. It talks you through all of that. The good thing about the book is that throughout it does recommend that you ring your vets if you do have a serious problem, which is great, because often a lot of people read a lot of books and they put a lot of posts on the internet and hope that they can solve the problem, and they don't really think that phoning the vets it might be the expensive option, but sometimes it's the best option. And it explains that if money's an issue, it's not the right time to be having litters, because it does cost money. For example, if the bitch needs to have a C-section or needs extra care, you know, these things add up. So if you are strapped for money, it's not ideal to be having puppies, because you might be in a situation where you need to take the puppies or your bitch to the vets for any kind of scenario, such as the C-section is the main one, which is very expensive. You'll need all the jabs for the puppies, you'll need vaccinations, microchips, you know, it all adds up. It also talks you through some training tips as well at the end of the book, which is great. So leash training. It also covers introducing a second dog to the family. So if you've already got a dog, how you bring in another dog to that family, which is really good. And chewing. chewing something when the teething process is going along, that it always happens. You always get some teething. So this book's really good. It explains what you can sort of do to prevent it and give them toys, slippers for them to chew on instead of chewing on your furniture. It talks you through puppy training, so the usual things like sit and wait, all the things that you'd expect them to be able to do. It gives you some idea of what to have or suggest to potential buyers to have in the home before they take the puppy home. For example, this page here, you need to create an area for them to sleep, an area for them to eat, make sure they've got somewhere they can run around, somewhere they can go outside to the toilet. So it's really, really good. It also talks you through finding a permanent home for the puppies. Last thing you want is to sell a puppy to somebody and they don't want it and they end up giving it away or abandoning it. So you need to make sure you have the right things in place to make sure that they go to a good home. You don't want your puppies to go somewhere where it's not safe or they're going to get abused. There's a lot of animal cruelty. She also lays out in the back of the book an agreement between breeder and purchaser. So that's that there, which is fantastic. It's a great example of a breeder-purchaser agreement. This is something I've never had. I've purchased lots of dogs in my past and I've never ever had an agreement between the breeder and the purchaser. And I think that's really, really important because you want to make sure they've gone to a good home and they're safe. It's also good that you have an agreement that you stay in touch with the people. Last thing you want is to buy a puppy and then you can't get in touch with the breeder and you've got a problem. I've done it. I've been there. I've bought a dog and the breeder's not been contactable. They've just disappeared. And it's sad because someone without any knowledge may need help and the breeder's probably the best person. So it's a really good book and I definitely recommend it. It also gives you some idea of equipment that you'll need to put in puppy packs for when you sell your puppies, which is also good. It's an all-round good book for a first-time breeder. So if it's your first time for breeding or you're considering it and you're weighing up your options whether it's going to be the right path for you, for your bitch to have a litter, then it's definitely worth buying. So there we go. I'll link the Amazon link in there for everybody to have a look if you want to purchase the book. Thank you.